Everyone knows the story of Medusa, a monster with snakes for hair, a creature so terrifying that a single glance turned men to stone. Perseus cut off her head. Athena put it on her shield. The end. But that's not the story. That's the version they simplified for children. The real story begins not with a monster, but with a beautiful woman. And it ends with one of the most disturbing acts of injustice in all of Greek mythology. Before Medusa became a monster, she was a Gorgon, one of three sisters born to the sea gods Phorcys and Ceto. Her sisters, Stheno and Euryale, were immortal. Medusa was not. That detail will matter later. Ancient sources describe Medusa before her transformation as strikingly beautiful, particularly her hair. The Roman poet Ovid, writing in his Metamorphoses, describes her as a woman whose beauty attracted many suitors. One account specifically mentions that her hair was her most admired feature. This is important, because what happens next is directly connected to that beauty. Medusa was a devoted priestess of Athena. Athena, goddess of wisdom and warfare, demanded strict vows of chastity from her priestesses. Medusa had taken those vows. She served in Athena's temple. And then Poseidon arrived. Poseidon, god of the sea, one of the three most powerful Olympians, wanted Medusa. The ancient sources are not gentle about what happened next. Ovid writes that Poseidon violated Medusa inside Athena's own temple. Let that settle for a moment. A priestess inside a sacred temple, devoted to the goddess she served. The violation didn't just break Medusa's vows, it desecrated Athena's holy ground. Now, here is where the story gets truly disturbing, because the question is not what Poseidon did. The question is, what happened after? Poseidon faced no consequences, none. He was a god. He was powerful. He moved on. Athena, however, was furious, but not at Poseidon. In the version most historians consider the original, Athena's rage turned toward Medusa. Her temple had been defiled. Her priestess had broken her vows of chastity, regardless of how or why those vows were broken. And so, Athena punished Medusa. She transformed her beautiful hair into writhing snakes. She altered her face so that any living being who looked directly at her would turn to stone. She cursed her to live in isolation, untouchable, feared by every creature she encountered. Medusa, the victim, became the monster. Some later scholars and philosophers attempted to reframe Athena's decision. Perhaps she was giving Medusa a form of protection, a way to defend herself from further harm. Perhaps the transformation was mercy disguised as punishment. But read the ancient texts carefully. There is no mercy in them. Medusa was exiled. Medusa was disfigured. And eventually, Medusa was hunted. Perseus was sent to kill Medusa as an impossible task, a death sentence disguised as a quest. He succeeded, with the help of Athena herself. Think about that. Athena, the goddess who cursed Medusa, actively assisted in her execution. She gave Perseus a mirrored shield so he could look at Medusa's reflection without being turned to stone. From Medusa's severed neck, two beings emerged: Chrysaor, a giant warrior, and Pegasus, the winged horse, one of the most iconic creatures in all mythology. Both were the children of Poseidon. Medusa had been pregnant. She died carrying the children of the god who violated her. She died with the help of the goddess who was supposed to protect her. And her head was placed on Athena's shield, the aegis, as a weapon of war. Even in death, Medusa served Athena. Greek mythology is often taught as a collection of adventure stories, heroes and monsters, gods and mortals, good versus evil. But the story of Medusa does not fit that framework. She was not a villain, she was a woman who was wronged by a god, punished by a goddess, hunted by a hero, and weaponized after her death. The Greeks told this story openly. They didn't hide it. What they didn't do is tell it from her perspective. That part, history left for us to figure out. If you want to understand Greek mythology, not the children's version, but the real one, subscribe. Next video. Athena's complete list of victims. The goddess of wisdom was not who you think she was.